Hi there, everyone. Kayla here. For my last speech this week, I'm going to be talking about scheduling. Now, if anyone has ever done a schedule before, you know that there's a lot of conflicts that come with scheduling. You always have unhappy people with their schedule unless you're in a business where there's set schedules and they already know their schedule coming in. In the field that I work in, which is the restaurant business, it is definitely you never know when you're going to work. You know that you're going to have a set amount of hours each week, but you never know what's going to happen. So, when I do the schedule, I stick to a few key factors. One is I overstaff. It is easier to call someone off or to send somebody home than it is to call someone in when it's busy and there's people lining out the door. Because you could have servers or drivers or busboys who live 20-30 minutes away who are not going to be able to get to the restaurant very quickly. And sometimes your rush can only be for an hour period. And it's definitely important to know how to staff them. Because if it's busy, it's going to get chaotic. So in best bet, I always overstaff. The second thing I do when I'm staffing is I have my staff set up in a certain way on the schedule. That way it makes it easier for me. It stays pretty much the same unless I have people who leave and are no longer with us, or if I have new people. I set it up by seniority, who's been there the longest. Those girls are the ones who are my stronger servers, or my guys and girls that are my drivers. They're usually stronger because they've been there longer. So that to me makes it easier to set up the schedule. Also, I have a calendar. I use the calendar as my system for people to tell me what days they can't work, and they put their availability on there as well. So that for me works the best. But I always do make sure to double check my phone when I do the schedule, because people will always text me if they last minute need a day off, or if something comes up, they usually text me and let me know. So, I'm going to go through how I set up a schedule each week. Now, I always try to post the schedule about Wednesday or Thursday, because that way for me, if there's any problems that may arise that following week, they have some time to know. Because sometimes they'll forget to put something on the calendar, and if they see the schedule ahead of time, it might jog their memory and they can switch shifts with someone or tell me in advance and I can switch the shift. So when I lay out the schedule, I handwrite each schedule. It's easier for me. I know some people might use Excel or Word, but I like to handwrite it because that way I can take it with me. If I have somewhere to go or I have something to do and I don't have my computer with me and I have some spare time, I like to have the schedule with me and I can do it right then. That's what works best for me. It might not for everyone else, but I like the old paper and pen style. Alright, when I write out the schedule, as I said before, I put all their names in the order of seniority. This works best for me, and I think at a lot of places seniority plays a key factor in when people work. So after I write everybody's names out, I take my phone and calendar and go through and cross out which days people can't work. I have some girls who have a set schedule because they either go to school or they have kids and they can only work certain times. So after I've gone through and marked off the days that everyone can't work, I'll go through and put in the hours for my girls and guys with the higher seniority. I like to make sure to take care of them and make sure they have the most hours because they've been with me the longest and are stronger workers. So after I go through and put them in, I usually will go through and fill in all the blanks. Now we have 3 shifts to cover for servers, which are the morning shift, the afternoon shift, and the closing shift. Now, some people who have the closing shift might not always necessarily stay till close, but they're the ones that are going to be the last to leave. Now, if someone comes in the morning, they're the early release. If it gets to the point where there's not as many tables and it's getting slow, they'll start their side work and go home early. Now, after I've filled in all the blanks and have covered all the shifts that are needed, I'll go through and grab my reservation book just to double check. Because sometimes if there's a big reservation, I'll put on an extra person just in case. Now, on a basic week, I put on 3 to 4 servers Monday through Thursday, and 5 servers Friday and Saturday. And Sunday is kind of interchangeable. Sometimes I do 3, sometimes I do 4, and sometimes I've even had 5 on Sundays, depending on if there's any different kind of parties going on or events. Now, after I've checked reservations, I will double check again to make sure each day has enough staff. For drivers, counter people, and bussers, I will put on 1 Monday through Thursday and 2 on for the weekend. We're busier then, and it's always good to have an extra hand when it's busy. Now, it's not always easy scheduling because you can have people complain about the hours that they are working, and they're not working enough hours or they're working too much. So I always give people the chance to switch days if they'd like. We have a little list with everyone's number on it, and they can have somebody cover for them if it's needed. It's pretty flexible unless it's a weekend, because I try to stick to the stronger staff on the weekend. And so, let's see. Now, scheduling a staff is not always easy. So I stick to the 3 main things I talked about: posting in advance, overstaffing, and keeping a calendar of availability. I think these are 3 ways that can help making the scheduling a little easier. Every business is going to be different, and they might have different protocols as far as scheduling. But in a restaurant business, I think this is the best technique to use. Alright, thank you everybody. I appreciate you guys commenting and watching my videos the past 6 weeks. I wish everyone the best of luck, and I hope everyone passes the class. Thank you.